All right, so today we're gonna dive into a story that I think you're really gonna find fascinating.
Sounds good.
Um, Kind of takes us across continents
Mm-hmm.
and explores, family ties
Yeah.
and cultural differences and just unexpected romance.
Yeah.
We're looking at a statement from a Nigerian woman
Okay.
who is living in the UK,
Uh-huh.
and she found herself in the middle of a very complicated situation
Interesting.
involving her mother and a widowed neighbor.
Wow. So, this is one of those situations where, like, on the surface, it sounds like a pretty simple story.
Right.
But as you start to peel back the layers, you
Yeah.
realize there's a lot more going on here.
Absolutely. And, we have to consider cultural norms,
Mm-hmm.
legal implications, the
Mm-hmm.
emotional impact on everyone involved.
Absolutely.
So her statement begins by describing the joy she felt when her mother arrived from Nigeria to help after the birth of her child.
Okay.
It seemed like the perfect solution to navigating those really difficult early days of motherhood.
Yeah, makes sense.
However, things took a very unexpected turn when a widowed neighbor
Ooh.
entered the picture.
Okay.
He started showering the mother with attention. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking flowers, love letters, invitations to picnics,
Oh, wow.
joining the family for church services. He even started teaching her to read.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, and so it makes you think about those gestures of affection.
Yeah.
You know, on the surface, they might seem innocent,
Right.
but I think they offer a glimpse into some potential cultural differences.
Absolutely.
So, for example, what's considered typical courtship behavior
Mm-hmm.
in one culture might be interpreted very differently in another.
Exactly.
So it would be, I think, interesting for us to maybe think about or delve deeper into
Uh-huh.
how romantic interest is expressed in British culture
Right.
versus Nigerian culture.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And it adds a layer of complexity here
For sure.
because while the neighbor's children, they're happy to see their father finding companionship, this situation becomes more complicated considering
Right.
the woman still has a husband back in Nigeria.
Wow.
And in fact, she's even stopped taking his calls and has
Oh.
mentioned that she doesn't plan to return.
Wow. So this brings up some really interesting questions about family expectations and
Oh,
obligations
yes.
across cultures and how those might be clashing here a little bit.
And then if we think about this from a legal perspective,
Mm-hmm.
an international marriage,
Right.
you know, adds another whole dimension to this situation.
Oh, for sure.
What are the implications of immigration law?
Exactly.
Could the mother potentially face challenges
Mm-hmm.
if she chooses to stay in the UK?
Yeah.
What type of visa would be required?
Mm-hmm.
What's the whole process like?
Yeah, these are all really important practical matters that we can't just ignore.
And to add to the urgency of this situation,
Okay.
the neighbor has already consulted with an immigration lawyer
Oh, wow.
and is moving forward with plans to marry the mother.
So this isn't just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
This is something that is actively happening.
Yeah, it seems like this whirlwind romance is unfolding very quickly.
Yeah, and I imagine for the woman who's, in the UK, this is just a whirlwind of emotions.
Of course.
On the one hand, she obviously wants her mother to be happy,
Okay.
but on the other hand, she has to consider
Right.
the impact this is going to have on her family back in Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
including her father, and the cultural implications of this relationship.
Right.
It must just be incredibly difficult to be in that position.
Yeah. I mean, her statement really highlights that struggle,
Mm.
that internal struggle that she's going through, where she expresses the desire to support her mother's happiness,
Mm.
but also grappling with this sense of responsibility toward her family and cultural background.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a complex situation with really no easy answers.
Absolutely. And it really gets to, I think, the heart of the question we want to leave everyone with today.
Yeah.
If you were the Nigerian woman in this scenario, how would you navigate this delicate balance?
Yeah.
How would you prioritize your mother's happiness while acknowledging the potential conflicts
Right.
with your family and culture? Because this whole deep dive really offers a glimpse
It does.
into this really intricate interplay of love, family, and cultural differences.
Yes.
And it prompts us to consider how we might approach such a complex dilemma.
Yeah. I mean, really makes you think
It does.
about these situations and how we would navigate them.
Absolutely.
So much to consider there.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate your insights.
Anytime.